Diarrhea in children. What first comes to my mind as a cause is rotavirus. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Our today's topic is rotavirus. Rotavirus is the most common cause of diarrhea in infants and young children. Nearly every child in the world is infected with rotavirus at least once by the age of 5. Rotavirus is a double-stranded DNA virus of the reovirus family. To know more about the classification of viruses, watch my video on Introduction to Virology, Structure and Classification. Link is given in the description box below. There are 10 species or serogroups of rotaviruses, from A to J. Among them, rotavirus A is the most common. It causes more than 90% of all rotavirus infections. Now, let's see the structure of rotavirus. Rotavirus is a naked virus which contains double-stranded RNA genome inside a 3-layered shell of capsid proteins. Each layer has icosahedral symmetry. Rotavirus has 6 structural proteins, namely viral protein 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 7. In the 3-layered shell, there is this green inner core made of viral protein 2, which contains the double-stranded DNA genome. Then this blue middle layer made of viral protein 6, and finally the yellow outer layer made of viral protein 7 with red surface spikes made of viral protein 4. Viral protein 1 and 3 are anchored on the inner side of the VP2 core. As I have said earlier, each layer has icosahedral symmetry, and an icosahedron has 20 faces, and all the faces are triangular. To make these triangular faces, viral proteins make trimers. Here, viral protein 2, 6 and 7, which make this 3-layered shell, all exist as trimers. We know naked viruses are tougher and less sensitive to environmental changes than enveloped viruses. Didn't know that? Go check on my video Introduction to Virology, Structure and Classification. Link is given in the description box below. As naked viruses are tougher, they don't necessarily need close contact for transmission. They are mainly transmitted by fecal route. As rotavirus has no envelope and is a naked virus, it is also transmitted fecally. Now let's talk about viral proteins. As I have said earlier, rotavirus has 6 structural proteins. Viral protein 1 is an RNA-dependent RNA polymerase, and viral protein 3 is an mRNA capping enzyme. Together, these two viral proteins form transcription complex and transcribes the viral genome into mRNAs. Viral protein 2 binds with genomic RNA and forms the inner core. Viral protein 6 forms the middle shell, as I have shown you earlier, and it is the group-specific antigen. Because serogroups are determined by the antigenic differences in this VP6 protein. VP4 and VP7 are located in the surface. They form the outer shell and mediates attachment and penetration, and induces neutralizing antibody in the host. Rotavirus also has some non-structural proteins, namely NSP1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. NSP4 is an enterotoxin that induces diarrhea, and it is the main culprit in the pathogenesis of rotavirus. NSP1 blocks interferon response, NSP3 shuts down protein synthesis of the host cell, and lastly NSP2 and NSP5 together make viroplasm, and NSP6 helps them. So now the question arises, what is viroplasm? Rotavirus produces intracytoplasmic inclusion bodies in the host cell. These inclusion bodies act as virus factories, where the replication and assembly of virus particles occur. And these inclusion bodies also protect the viral mRNAs and proteins from destruction by host cell nucleases and proteases. These inclusion bodies are called viroplasms. So the viroplasms are formed by NSP2, 5 and 6. Now let's take a look at the genome of rotavirus. Rotavirus has a segmented double-stranded RNA genome with 11 segments. Here you can see all the 11 segments. Each segment encodes one protein, except the segment 11, which encodes two proteins. Now, replication. For a general overview of viral replication, watch my video on viral replication. Link is given in the description box below. At first, the virus attaches to the host cell, that is the mature enterocytes of the small intestine. Attachment is mediated by viral surface proteins VP4 and VP7. Then the virus particle is internalized by receptor-mediated endocytosis. As I have said earlier, VP7 exists as trimer. This trimer is broken within the endosome, and the outer layer composed of VP4 and VP7 is lost, leaving a double-layered particle or DLP. Then 11 mRNA transcripts are synthesized from the 11 segments of the viral genome by the RNA-dependent RNA polymerase VP1 and mRNA capping enzyme VP3. After that, viral proteins are synthesized. After first round of viral protein synthesis, non-structural proteins come into play. NSP2 and NSP5 along with NSP6 forms inclusion bodies called viroplasms. Then, within the viroplasm, some of the mRNAs are encapsulated by VP1, 2 and 3 to form immature virus particles. I have shown earlier that VP1 and VP3 are anchored on the inner side of the VP2 core. That's why after initial encapsulation, VP1 and VP3 produces minus strand from the positive polarity mRNAs, and thus double-stranded viral genome is formed. After that, double-layered particles, that is DLPs, are assembled within the viroplasm after second round of encapsulation by VP6, and then these DLPs migrate to the endoplasmic reticulum. In the endoplasmic reticulum, DLPs bud and obtain a temporary envelope. In the envelope, there is VP4 and VP7, that is the third layer. After that, the temporary envelope is lost and mature triple-layered particles are released. Here you can see the replication process. At first, attachment, then penetration, loss of outer layer, then transcription within the DLP, and translation of viral proteins. This is the viroplasm where viral replication and assembly of DLPs occur. Then the DLPs bud at the endoplasmic reticulum and gets a temporary envelope. With the envelope there is VP4 and VP7. After that the envelope is lost, but VP4 and VP7 proteins remain, and thus a triple-layered particle is formed and released. Here you can see NSP4 helping in the budding process. It also alters the permeability of ER membrane, which contributes to the pathogenesis of rotavirus. Now let's see the pathogenesis. I have said earlier that rotavirus attacks enterocytes. During viral replication within the enterocytes, NSP4 is synthesized. NSP4 is the first discovered viral enterotoxin. This protein is also secreted during viral release. Secreted NSP4 affects neighboring uninfected cells. NSP4 is the center of rotaviral pathogenesis. It increases calcium permeability in both cellular membrane and ER membrane. As a result, intracellular calcium concentration increases, which results into various harmful effects. High intracellular calcium concentration induces secretion of serotonin from enterochromaffin cells, thus activates the enteric nervous system. High intracellular calcium concentration also induces chloride ion secretion and apoptosis. All these events ultimately lead to diarrhea. Activation of enteric nervous system sends signals to vomiting center in the brain, which causes vomiting. NSP4 also inhibits sodium glucose cotransporter 1, that is SGLT1. As a result, sodium and water absorption is impaired, leading to diarrhea. Here you can see that NSP4 is secreted by the infected enterocytes and increases intracellular calcium concentration in neighboring enterochromaffin cell, causing serotonin release and subsequent activation of enteric nervous system. Activated enteric nervous system increases chloride ion secretion and gastrointestinal motility, leading to diarrhea. It also stimulates vomiting center, leading to vomiting. Clinical features: watery diarrhea, nausea and vomiting. Severe diarrhea and vomiting leads to dehydration and even shock. Then there is abdominal pain and low-grade fever. Symptoms usually occur during first infection. Subsequent infections are milder. Severe symptoms occur in children of 6 months to 2 years and immunodeficient people. Children below 6 months of age are protected by maternal immunoglobulins, that is, immunoglobulin G obtained from placenta and immunoglobulin A obtained from the breast milk. Almost all are infected during their childhood and develops immunity to rotavirus. For this reason, rotavirus infection usually doesn't occur in adults. Diagnosis. Diagnosis is mainly clinical. Laboratory methods include ELISA from stool sample to detect the virus and ELISA from blood, that is serology, to detect specific antibody. PCR is used in research laboratories. Now, treatment. Oral rehydration therapy to correct dehydration and serotonin antagonists like ondansetron to prevent vomiting. Prevention strategies include personal hygiene like proper hand washing practice, improved sanitation like proper sewage disposal, and vaccination of children. Many vaccines for rotavirus are available. To understand these vaccines, we have to understand the serotypes of rotavirus. I have said earlier that BP4 and BP7 forms the outer layer. These proteins are type-specific antigens, as serotypes are determined by these two proteins. Serotypes determined by VP7 are termed as G serotypes, and those determined by VP4 are termed as P serotypes. There are many different G and P types, but strains are usually designated by their G types. Commonest G types include G1, 2, 3, 4, 9, and 12. Vaccines are made by using these surface proteins, that is BP7 and BP4 of these serotypes, as they are the most common. Available vaccines are Rotarix, which contains the surface proteins of the G1 serotype, Rotatec, which contains surface proteins from G1, 2, 3, 4, and G6. Important fact: in Lange publications Review of Medical Microbiology and Immunology book, Rotatec is said to contain surface protein of G9 serotype instead of G6, but according to WHO documents, it is G6. Then Rotavac, which is a monovalent vaccine containing the surface proteins of G9 serotype, and Rotacil, which contains the surface proteins of G1, 2, 3, 4, and 9. All these vaccines are live attenuated vaccines and given orally. As these vaccines are live vaccines, these must not be given to immunodeficient children. So that's all for today. Stay safe, stay hygienic, stay protected from rotavirus by hand washing. And as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and share. And if you are new to our channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon to get notifications of upcoming videos.